Good morning and welcome back to Mindful Morning Minutes. This is Paula Weiss and I'm Julie Tunador of Mind Euphoria, and we are excited to be here with you another morning of sharing mindfulness and positivity. So we're going to be talking about something today that fits in with this end of the month as we're tying in on self-love and the importance of all of our relationships. And this is kind of the key part, the key way to tie it all up. But first, I just want to make sure that everyone is as excited as we are. Next week, that's right, next week, 1 week from today, we are starting the Honor Your Body Quest. This is going to be fun, super fun. So if you went, don't do that. This is not going to be depriving or judging or anything negative. This is going to be positive, mindful, mind-body connection, self-loving, nurturing, honoring your body. It's going to feel good. We've got a lot of surprises, some guests, and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you haven't already, sign up. We have that information here, and watch the upcoming posts. And please invite whoever you think could use some self-care, some self-love, or just to honor their body, to truly honor themselves and their bodies. So, or just someone who'd be fun to do this with. So invite, send it out, share it, watch for those posts. Please sign up if you haven't already. It's going to be fun. And now let's talk about this so important topic today.
Forgiveness.
Oh, yes.
What did you think? What did you feel when I said forgiveness? Are you someone who just like easily forgives, or maybe you forgive but never forget, right? You just secretly hold on to a tiny bit, or do you just let things go fully? And so today I want to talk about forgiveness because it is, it is a part of this process of growth, is the ability to forgive others and to forgive yourself, to really let go. And so I want to use some of the information from one of my favorite books by Richard R. Hawkins called Letting Go. And it's really a great read. I highly, highly, highly recommend it for any of you who wants to just have read from this author. He's awesome. Just went through a process of letting go and really raised his consciousness to this awesome place where he was living in peace and joy and kind of free of these anxious thoughts that often just bog us down. And so I wanted to talk about some of the ideas he presents because they really helped me. Once I read, I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. This makes sense. It makes sense to not just live in this fear and feeling bad and all that. So really our thoughts, when you think about it, our thoughts and emotions, they're bringing us certain things, and they can either bring us abundance or they can bring us lack, right? We can be in this place with our thoughts and our emotions where it's I feel amazing. Everything comes to me. Life is great. Or we can be I wish I had that. If only I had that. And then if I only had this, so really it's one of those thoughts. And these are two opposing forces that don't really mesh together. They're opposites. It's fear versus love, where we can have health or we can be imbalanced. We could have joy or we could be anxious and afraid. So really the way he puts it is what you appreciates, right? So whatever you have that focus on, whatever you're focused on really begins to grow in our mind. And so if we grow the emotions and thoughts of joy versus the ones of anxiety or fear, the ones of gratitude and love versus fear or something, then we'll be creating more of that in our lives. And so really kind of one of the main points of the book itself is just that it's giving you this blueprint of how to best handle your thoughts and emotions as they come up. And so really one of the best ways is to let go of the idea of judgment, because thinking about that, if you're not judging or resisting a feeling when it comes up, the hard emotions, if you're thinking negatively or something, if you just observe it, what if we just observed it and we just let ourselves experience it fully? The good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, like all of it, right? All of it. Because what if we just stopped labeling it as bad? Maybe it's just an emotion. Maybe it's just something we're feeling that's trying to teach us something. And so by doing that, by stopping to just observe it and not pass judgment on it, well, then you'll notice that the emotion actually fully moves through you and then it's gone. What happens is we get used to passing a judgment like, oh, I shouldn't have said, I really hate that person that just cut me off in the road and I hope they die, or whatever, whatever thing popped into your head, and then you feel bad about it and then you attach that. It's like, whoa, okay, well, first off, let's work on not having those reactions. But then beyond that, having more of a place of peace and love for yourself too. Like, oh man, that's not how I want to be. I don't want to be that person just angry, like, right. And so this process of letting go, just like kind of letting go to our attachments to these beliefs that we create around things will help us live in this place that's like free of shame or guilt. Because it's really the judgment that we hold on to, which creates the feelings of guilt or shame around something. Right? If we were to just let it go in that moment, well, we wouldn't have that feeling come back up. It would just be like, okay, it's worked through. So our goal in life and the goal of these mindfulness practices that we teach really is to help you move like up in the scale of consciousness. Right? You want to move from this lower, we call it lower vibratory state. It's like kind of less happy place of fear, worry, and shame, and move up to this like higher, better vibrations, closer to love, joy, peace, gratitude. Right? These words, we say them because they really it's a way of being, right? Where you're not just holding on to all this stuff from before that isn't serving you anymore. And really, from that place of love and joy and peace, well, that's where abundance and that healing, it comes naturally. And so things that we might have been holding on to often for years, right? We're no longer attached to them. And you can think about this, these rituals are seen in like every major religion. You can see it in meditation practices about kind of just letting go of this material body idea and just like letting things be. And then now you feel a part of like a collected whole. Right. So that's like in Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, right? It's about letting go of that attachment, these desires, and just being in a place where you're experiencing happiness, or a place of letting go of the past. So you're free to enjoy the present. Because if you're constantly stuck in these negative thought patterns from the past, well, you're not really that person anymore. And so you can think about this too if you've ever been to church and given confession to a priest, right? It's that same ritual. You're letting it go to God. You're letting it go to a higher source, a higher power, and you should be releasing it at that moment. Like, I've let go of this. I'm letting it out because I need to let this go and let it go to that higher place. And it's really the issues come up for us when we begin to internalize it instead of actually letting it go, right? The ritual is to let it go and then say a prayer. Yet what we do is then we're like, oh, I did bad, or I feel bad and I'm bad, or whatever it is. But what we attach to it, that's what makes us feel bad, not the thing itself. It's the ideas we draw upon ourselves. We're human. Sometimes we do good things, sometimes we do bad things. But really, it's when we start believing that because we did something that wasn't in our best interest or in the best interest of someone, then we're bad. Versus, you know what? I can work and be better and do better things and bring more love and peace and joy into this world. So forgiveness really means choosing to let go of that anger or resentment towards yourself or towards others. It really means surrendering any thoughts that you might have of revenge and moving forward just like free of any thoughts of vengeance about it. Right? Forgiveness isn't really about the other person either. Forgiveness is about you, because that person, well, they might not be thinking about that thing that you're angry about. And so who are you really hurting by holding on to it? Only yourself. And so really letting go is about finding that love within yourself that allows you to be better and do better.
Yes, I love that. And I love just a reminder that we're all human, right? We're all human having a human experience. And we have to remember that. And when we think about some of the things that we've been carrying around, maybe things we haven't forgiven ourselves for, or, our partner, our family members, whoever it may be, we've been lugging this around half a lifetime, a whole lifetime, 5 years, 10 years, however long it's been. And that's not serving us. And if you think about that, whoever you were, whoever they were at the time this occurred, this event, this conversation, this thing, you're not the same person. So having compassion, looking at your younger self with compassion, with love and understanding of, wow, I didn't know everything that I know now. And even looking at how you can give gratitude to the experience. I know it's hard to think about that when you're thinking about some of these things that are coming up for you right now, but every experience shapes us. So if you look back at that event and see what positive came from it, because most times, absolutely something positive came. We changed in a certain way. And that led us to be who we are now, where we are now. So can we even give gratitude to that person, that place, that thing, that event, and just have compassion for their younger self, because they're not the same person either, just as you're not the same person. And knowing that there's so many health benefits physically, emotionally, they've studied boosting your immune system, everything that happens when you forgive. So forgiveness is real. There's a lot of power in it for our health on mind, body, and soul levels. So we encourage you to think about this and really create some time for yourself to go through some of these rituals that we're about to share with you. And two of our favorite, we're going to, share with you today, and we've shared before, and we'll probably keep sharing forever because they're so fantastic. They're so effective. And the first one is Ho'oponopono, and Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian practice that they've been using for a long time, and it's a process of reconciliation and forgiveness, and that can be within ourselves and with other people. Even in larger situations, it can be used for many, many uses and reasons, and it's a phase of saying these different phrases. And you can go into a stream of consciousness. You can just repeat the phrases. And let me tell you what they are first. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And some people add, I forgive myself. So if you think about how this would work for you, let's say there's something that you need to forgive yourself or someone else for. Just going into the stream of consciousness of that. I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me. I don't know what was happening that day or where this came from. I'm truly sorry for whatever it was in me that was triggered. And please forgive me. Please forgive me for not recognizing my responsibility in the situation. What brought this into my awareness and into my life? And thank you. Thank you for the forgiveness. Thank you for the learning. Thank you for helping me become the person that I am now. And I love you. I love you to myself. I love you to that person. I love you to the universe. I love you to this experience that showed me my responsibility, that helped me shift and transition into where I am now. And I forgive myself. And you can just go through and keep going through that stream of consciousness or keep saying those phrases. And you'll see that it doesn't take very long before everything begins to shift. And then our second favorite one, Earl, do you want to share that one?
Sorry. Next one.
There you go.
I had to get my microphone. Good thing we have this mind connection.
Yes.
On a method with and this is developed by Lester Livingston. He basically was very sick, and he was told you're gonna die. He was having heart disease. He was very young. He was in his 40s, and he was a very angry person. He had so much hatred in him, and he basically realized he'd spent his whole life just angry. And so he went through this process of letting go, right? This happens to a lot of people when they're, going through a process towards the end of their life. It's okay, why am I holding on to crap from back then? Like, I want to think about the good stuff and live in the good stuff, because that ultimately is what's important. So that's why, as young as you can, start letting go of the stuff that's the bad stuff, because then you have more peace and love and joy within your life. And so this process that he went through, he asked himself a series of 3 questions. Could I let this go? Would I let this go? And when could I let it go? And so in doing so, he was able to just let go of all these things, just ask himself each time. And you have to, and thinking about it from the cognitive process there, you're creating a pattern interrupt in those thoughts. And then you're giving yourself permission to let it go. And you're also stating the truth that you could let it go right then in this moment. And that's true of really everything. It's like, could you let it go? Yeah, things can be let go. It's just that we oftentimes choose to hold on to it. Or like, oh, I can't forgive this person, and I'm going to never forget that they, did this thing to me. But the truth is, you could let it go. And you have to be willing to. That's why the second question is, would I let this go? And when? And sometimes it's not right for you at that moment to just let it go in there, and that's okay. If you're not there, it's okay. But also work towards the place where you are there, where you can let it go. Because you'll see that forgiveness isn't really for them or the event or the thing. Was coming in there to teach you something, to teaches us about life. Everything is an experience, like Julie was saying, an experience that we have. Even the negative experiences teach you something, because everything teaches you.
Yeah, and I love with that method, I like to expedite my healing. Who else likes to expedite? Come on, our growth, our healing. Yes. So if I'm getting a no, then I'm just like, what? Like, really? Do I really want to hold on to this? So I'll keep asking myself, okay, fine. If I'm not ready to let it go now, then maybe I could just carry it around for another day or a week or a month or a year or 10 years or 20 years or just my whole lifetime. And I could be bogged down and bitter and angry and resentful. And then just in doing that, it's a mind trick. It's an interrupt that immediately makes you say, no, like, I don't want to do that to myself. I'm ready to let it go now. So if you're getting the no, go through that process with yourself and just see how long do you really want to carry this. And I guarantee the answer is not one more second.
Yeah. Yeah. It really puts it in perspective when you do it that way. And that's such a good practice. Thank you for reminding me to share about that and sharing that with everyone. So that's those are our rituals for today that we wanted to share with you about forgiveness, because this will allow you to thrive through forgiveness. Because if you can do that, you forgive yourself, you forgive others, and really move into this place of surrender, love, and peace and joy, you really can do it. And it just helps life. It helps you float through life easily, effortlessly, a better place. And that's what true mindfulness is living in the present and not worrying about the narrow, worrying about future things that happened in the past. Instead, creating possible. So remember to join us for next week as we start our Honor Your Body quest. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll have links to joining us and to bring some people in. Share it, please. We love having new people, and we have some special things coming, so we're really excited for it. And we wanted to, share with you guys something special that'll allow you to honor your body and really help you move close year in a much better state, in a much happier way. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week.
Yep, much love and gratitude. We'll see you next week.